$50 million.
Let me check out that ring.
What's up, TMZ?
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
What's up, man?
TMZ Sports.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock. My man, as always, Mojo Muhtadi with the fresh cut. Mojo, we're going to start with the fight that Dana White says could be the biggest fight of all time ever in combat sports. And no, we're not talking about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. We're not talking about Francis Ngannou versus John Jones. We are talking about billionaires Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg possibly stepping into an octagon and actually fighting, Mojo. And this is absolutely for real. So first, before we hear from Dana White, and we spoke with the UFC president, let's give you some background here. How did this all start? Well, first, Elon Musk went to social media, went to his own app, Twitter, on Wednesday, after hearing that Mark Zuckerberg, of course, the guy who created Facebook, that he could be starting his very own version of Twitter. To that, Elon Musk said this: "I'm up for a cage match if he is, LOL." Well, guess what, Mojo? Zuck heard, and he responded, channeling Khabib Nurmagomedov, "Send me location." So now a lot of people saw this, were talking about this, could not believe that the guys were even going back and forth with trash talk. I think, Mojo, everybody thought this was not real. This was just two very wealthy dudes who are having some fun with one another. But there's no way that they would ever step foot in the cage, is there? Well, guess what? Dana White says that there actually is, and even more so that he has actually had conversations with both guys. Here is the UFC president on TMZ Live with Harvey and Charles. Crazy stuff. Watch this.
They both want to do it. Mark Zuckerberg hit me up first and said, "Is he serious?" And I said, "I don't know. Let me ask him." I asked him and he said, "Yeah, I'm dead serious." Obviously this would be the biggest fight ever in the history of the world. Bigger than anything that's ever been done. It would break all pay-per-view records. These guys would raise hundreds of millions of dollars for charity. And, you don't have to be a fight fan to be interested in this fight. The biggest fight of all time was Floyd Mayweather and Conor. I think it triples that. I think it triples what that did. There's no limit on what this thing could make. If these guys are serious, I make fights that people want to see. That's what I do for a living. So if they really want to do it and they're serious and we can figure it out and figure out a way to pull this off, I would absolutely positively do this.
Man,
Incredible.
I hope this is real. How great would this be if these two billionaires, close to trillionaires almost at this point, would actually get inside of a cage and fight? We were hyped up about Jones and Ngannou. My goodness, this would be so much bigger. To say it would triple Conor and Floyd, I think that is the most conservative estimate ever, because this fight appeals to literally anyone, not just fight fans.
Yes.
Not just anyone with a Facebook or Twitter account. This reaches anyone on the planet, anywhere. This has some sort of appeal. And they're not playing basketball, Babcock. They're not playing horse where it's like, yeah, who cares who loses? These two are going to get into a ring and brawl. I would just love to see the numbers behind this. And I'm going to say, Babcock, I don't know if this is the most advised scenario for one of these two guys in particular.
Oh, who do you think would win? Who do you think would win, Mojo?
I gotta say, it's gotta be Zuckerberg, right? He's got age on his side, but He also is the only one with any kind of combat training. Zuckerberg has been training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know. Does Elon even work out? Forget any kind of MMA training. I feel like the only shot Elon has is if he constructs some sort of Tony Stark Iron Man apparatus that he could take in the cage, but of course, likely not to be legal.
Yeah, I don't think that they'll allow that to happen. I think you're right. Look, Musk is 51 years old. Mark Zuckerberg is 39 years old. That matters. Though, what also matters in fighting is length, and Elon Musk is 6 inches taller Mojo, you are right. I think Elon Musk is at a disadvantage when it comes to some of the things on the tail of the tape here. Look, there's a 12-year age difference. Elon's 51. Mark Zuckerberg is 39. But if you want to look at advantages for Elon, length matters in fighting, and Mark is only 5'7", while Elon is 6'1", so he's got a 6-inch height advantage. He presumably has a reach advantage, too. You're right, though, Mojo. Mark has been training BJJ for a while. He started during the pandemic. He has even competed in actual tournaments. Now, Elon says he has done some martial arts growing up. He also grew up in some rough conditions, circumstances. Mojo grew up in South Africa, where Elon is said to have been in a street fight or two. So maybe some fighting experience as a kid. Don't know how much he's done as of late. I want to watch this. I don't care if one guy's more advanced than the other. I think this would truly be an event that would be talked about forever. You're talking about guys here who are worth $350 billion combined. Dana's working on it. He wants to make this fight happen, and God, I hope he does. Coming up next on TMZ Sports, Aaron Rodgers speaks at a conference and makes the case for psychedelic mushrooms to be legalized in the United States. This is something that the four-time NFL MVP is very passionate about. We're going to hear from Rodgers next on TMZ Sports. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike and Mojo. Mojo, Aaron Rodgers also fighting. No billionaire, but he is fighting to have some psychedelics legalized in the United States. Obviously something we've heard Aaron talk about in the past, credited ayahuasca with his back-to-back MVP seasons. Well, there was a conference going on, Mojo. It was called the Psychedelic Science 2023 conference, and Aaron Rodgers actually got up on stage, sat down and had a conversation with Aubrey Marcus, who is a famous podcaster and Aaron's buddy. Now, he is speaking very passionately, Mojo, about psilocybin, aka magic mushrooms, and the positive benefit that they could have on a lot of people's lives. Here's Aaron Rodgers.
I know in Colorado that psilocybin has been decriminalized, but is it not? Yeah. Is it not ironic that the things that actually expand your mind are illegal, and the things that keep you in the lower chakras and dumb you down have been legal for centuries? And you know what? It's going to be hard to cancel me because, the previous year, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. We had a good season. Ayahuasca, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. MVP. What are you going to say? And it's a permission slip for other people to stand up and talk about their own experiences, to join in, to dive in, to learn about it. And I think that's how we move this conversation forward.
Wow. Aaron Rodgers embracing that inner New Yorker, saying, try me. Please try your MVP. Man, he's as committed to this campaign probably as his own football career. And if he feels this strongly about it, having this much success for him, being able to keep him on the field for this long and performing at the highest level in his career, I suppose why not? But wow, what a stance that he's taken. I mean, he's laying all the cards out on the table with this one.
Absolutely. Look, we know that he is into these kind of things. He's into crystals, and that's the kind of guy that he is. But for him to go up there and to passionately speak out about a topic that not everybody is going to agree. You're going to have some people who feel like Aaron Rodgers is pushing drugs, that some of these substances can be unsafe. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I'm an expert on this, because I am not. But I do know that Aaron wholeheartedly believes that some of these mushrooms and psychedelics have really impacted his career for the positive. And I respect, I don't know if it's right or not, but I really do respect him getting up there and talking about something that he is passionate about, despite the fact that he knows he's going to be criticized. So pretty cool to see Aaron up there. I don't think we're at the point, Colorado's a bit more liberal. I don't know New York, New Jersey, where Aaron is now at. I don't know we're at the point where they're going to legalize some of these psychedelics, but It can't hurt to have Aaron on their side, so stay tuned. Coming up next on TMZ Sports, we're going to be joined by UFC champion Brandon Moreno. This guy's story is like a movie script, and Brandon says that when he gets back in that octagon at UFC 290 in just a few weeks, he is going to add to a story that I do think one day will be turned into a movie. This guy's done everything, including being the first Mexican-born UFC champion. Brandon going to join us next on TMZ Sports. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock. Mojo will be back with us in just a few minutes, but we are joined by one of the most dangerous men in the world and friend of the show, the UFC Flyweight champion, Brandon Moreno, who is about to get back inside of that octagon against Alexander Pantoja, July 8th at UFC 290. And now the champ is here. Brandon, how are you doing, brother?
Let's go, man. I'm happy to be with you again, and enjoying my diet, like I said before, with you.
Brandon, talk to me about preparing for somebody who is not named Davison Figueiredo. You have fought him 4 of your last 5 fights. It's something so rare, especially in the UFC. How about just preparing for somebody else that's not Davison?
Man, so first of all, I'm glad. I feel so glad to share that rivalry with Davison. We're 2 years with a lot of pressure, stress, thinking about him, thinking about the bell, of course, thinking about the representation I have in my country, in Mexico. So was a lot of things on the line, but right now I'm part of the history of the mixed martial arts, and I'm part of the history of the UFC, thinking, about the future, like the Hall of Fame or whatever. So I'm just glad to share that kind of rivalry with somebody. But I can't lie to you. I'm happy, man. I'm just happy to don't think about Davison, to think in another game plan, to do something different in my practices. Because, always is every single game plan is very specific for the next fighter. So, yeah, my practices were about the game plan against Davison. Now this one were different. So, man, I'm just happy.
But at the same time, you also now go to another opponent who you are obviously very familiar with. Again, right? Maybe not 4 fights, but this obviously will be your 3rd fight with Pantoja. It was a long time ago, Brandon, right? You're talking about 2016 on a TV show on The Ultimate Fighter, and then you're talking about 2018. I mean, that's 5 years ago at this point. You're a different fighter. You're the champion now. How much have you looked at the past performances, or have you ignored those?
I mean, watch my last 2 fights against Alexandre. Was part of the game plan. Watch my mistakes of the past, what I did, and try to recognize what I'm improved specifically since those fights. Alexander Pantoja never fought against the best Brandon Moreno in the moment, and those are just excuses. I hate excuses, but I'm talking with you. I'm thinking about what happened in that moment. Trying to reflect a little bit about it, and that's it, man. I think I'm very sure about what I'm saying right now, and I'm just excited to go that night, July 8th, and show to the world, like, man, I'm just better than him.
I know all of these fights mean a lot to you. Will this one mean even more, though, to have what happened in the past happen and then to come back and to overcome that? Will it mean more, Brandon?
Man, it's everything is like a movie, because I passed this crazy rivalry with Davison, and now I have this a nice rivalry with Pantoja, who beat me in the past. Man, that's like a movie, It's like a guide, like somebody write that takes for us, for me, so that this fight specifically is a perfect opportunity to keep building my legacy, man. Brandon Moreno, who got released from the company in 2018, then came back, then champion, then the rivalry with Davison, now Pantoja, the rematch. Man, I'm excited, man.
Brandon, you're awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, again, it's UFC 290. Brandon Moreno going to make things right with Alexander Pantoja. Thank you so much, Brandon. We'll talk soon.
Let's go. Awesome. Have an amazing day, right?
Coming up next on TMZ Sports, we're talking to Dwyane Wade, the future first ballot Hall of Famer, giving some advice to all of the people drafted in the NBA draft Thursday night. We're going to hear from D. Wade next on TMZ Sports.
A miracle in the jungle. A plane crash. All the adults dead. Miraculously, 4 children survive, including an 11-month-old baby. 40 terrifying days alone in the Amazon. Until a miraculous rescue. But that's just the beginning of the story. TMZ is on the ground in Colombia. The Miracle Children of the Amazon. Stream on Hulu now.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike and Mojo. Mojo, the NBA draft went down tonight. Huge night for these kids who have had their entire lives changed. The fame, the fortune, all overnight. But it's a lot of pressure, a lot to deal with, especially if it's new to you. And let's be honest, not many 17, 18, 19-year-old kids have that level of fortune. But now they do, Mojo. Question is, how to navigate the new life, the new reality? Well, we had a chance to talk to a guy, and I know we teased this yesterday as we were leaving the show. Dwyane Wade, 20 years ago, Dwyane Wade, who was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, was the 5th overall pick, taken out of Marquette, was a star in college, and obviously had an incredible career in the NBA. We spoke with D. Wade, Mojo, and we asked him for some advice for all of the new draftees. Here's what he had to say.
What's your advice to the rookies?
Take in the moment. It goes fast. You only get one draft.
Yeah.
So enjoy it all. Take as much videos and pictures as you can.
What would you give them advice? If you knew then, you'd tell them now.
Yeah. Try to get you somebody in your life that really knows finances.
Yeah.
Somebody who hopefully you can build a relationship with. Hopefully you can build a trust with eventually. But also learn everything you can about your own finance.
What a great answer, Mojo, and a well thought out answer from Dwyane Wade. I think that was really legitimately good advice.
Absolutely. I mean, he focused on the two biggest things, the now, the present, and the future. Now, enjoying the culmination of your hard work to a point, of course, being selected in the NBA draft and reaching your dreams. You dream of playing pro sports when you're a small kid, and now here's your chance to go out there and make your name, but just being able to be there at all, even if it's just for a day, is an absolute dream come true. Now, the finances, that's your long term right here. That's protecting your future because, as we all know quite well, pro sports don't last forever. No. I played in the NFL. My career lasted 2 years before an injury took me out. It wasn't something that I anticipated or could have possibly expected, but it happened, and it altered the course of my future here. So making sure your finances are aligned are just extremely important, and it's important to receive training on this because, sure, you hear, don't go out and buy the house you can't afford. Don't go out and buy the nice, flashy car that you can't afford. Those are obvious things, even maybe the jewelry as well, but sometimes you're not prepared for the decisions, the financial investments that you thought were smart. Maybe putting too much into real estate, not diversifying enough, in the stock market, potentially trusting the wrong financial advisor that could con you or rob you later, loaning too much for family. These are good-hearted investments that could come back to bite you. And if you don't know anything about finances, these situations will ruin you. Ask Simeon Rice if you want an example.
Yeah, and many others, Mojo, right? And I think that's why, the saying goes, more money, more problems. A lot of great things come with money, but it is a challenge learning how to manage it. And hopefully all these young guys who were just drafted tonight and had their lives changed, I hope that they get to hear this Dwyane Wade clip because, like you said, Mojo, it's wonderful advice. All right, Mojo, we're just about out of time, but before we go, we've got to talk about this chain. Mecole Hardman, the speedy wide receiver, his nickname is the Jet, and he signed with the New York Jets back in March. Well, he got what is one of the most incredible pieces of jewelry, Mojo, that I've ever seen. Look at that. That, of course, is a jet. And the pendant, the cockpit opens, and you see, I guess that's Mecole, who is inside the cockpit there. That is 100 carats of diamonds. Obviously, there's gold. And I shudder to even think what that chain costs. But it is incredible, Mojo. I've never seen anything like that.
Absolutely the second best chain we've ever seen here on TMZ Sports after the Mojo chain, of course. They're about the same size, yeah. I would say, similar in carats. That thing is awesome. That chain is so cool. Again, question the practicality here. Desperately want to know how much this thing costs. But I don't know. It looks pretty heavy, and maybe he's working on his neck strength in the offseason, and this is the conduit for that kind of training.
Yeah, good luck tackling Mecole Hardman next season, right? It's going to be impossible to bring down. So strong from carrying that thing around. Absolutely incredible. I've never seen a fighter jet pendant before. I am blown away. All right, Mojo, we have got to go. Big show tomorrow, though. Of course, we're going to have a bunch from the NBA draft, including a conversation with a former NBA star, Gilbert Arenas. A bunch of draft stuff tomorrow morning. We'll see you then. Mojo, going to be great.
Absolutely, Babcock, and it'll definitely make it.
What?
The best show since today!
I'm a lawyer.